Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Gaura Premanandi, Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivacharya Astottara Śrīmad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Grantara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nasta Praishu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Good morning. Thank you for attending the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class. Today we are going to read Canto 8, Chapter 5, The Demigod's Appeal to the Lord, Text 26. Shri Brahma Vacha Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadyam Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadyam Guhasayam Niskalam Apratarkyam Guhashayam Niskalam Apratarkyam Manograyanam Vachasa Niruktam Manograyanam Vachasa Niruktam Namamahe Devavaram Varenyam Namamahe Devavaram Varanyam Shri Brahma Vacha Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadyam Guhasayam Niskalam Apratarkyam Manograyanam Vachasa Niruktam Namamahe Devavaram Varenyam. Please chant. Brahma Vacha Shri Brahma Vacha Avikram Satyam Anantamadyam Guhasayam Niskalam Apratarkyam Manograyanam Vachasa Niruktam Namamahe Devavaram Varanyam Shri Brahma Vacha Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadyam Guhasayam Niskalam Apratarkyam Manograyanam Vachasa Niruktam Namamahe Devavaram Varanyam Shri Brahma Vacha Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadyam Guhasayam Niskalam Apratarkyam Manograyanam Vachasa Niruktam Namamahe Devavaram Varanyam. Ladies. Shri Brahma Vacha Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadyam Guhasayam Niskalam Apratarkyam Manograyanam Vachasa Niruktam Namamahe Devavaram Varenyam Shri Brahma Vacha Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadyam Guhashayam niskalam apratarkyam manograyanam vachasa niruktam namamahe deva varam varenyam. Shri Brahma Vacha. Lord Brahma said, Avikriyam, onto the personality of Godhead, who never changes, as opposed to material existence. Satyam, the eternal supreme truth. Anantam, unlimited. Adyam, the original cause of all causes. Guhashayam, present in everyone's heart. Niskalam, without any decrease in potency. Apratarkyam, inconceivable, not within the jurisdiction of material arguments. Mana agrayanam, more quick than the mind. Inconceivable to mental speculation. Vachasa, by jugglery of words. Aniruktam, indescribable. Namamahe, all of us demigods offer our respectful obeisances. Deva Varam, unto the Supreme Lord, who is not equalled or surpassed by anyone. Varenyam, the Supreme Worshipable, who is worshipped by the Gayatri Mantra. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. You can read the translation with me. Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Lord, O changeless, unlimited Supreme Truth, you are the origin of everything, being all-pervading. You are in everyone's heart and also in the atom. You have no material qualities. Indeed, you are inconceivable. The mind cannot catch you by speculation, and words fail to describe you. You are the Supreme Master of everyone, and therefore you are worshipable for everyone. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Now, who wants to read the purport? You want? Okay. Thank you. You need a mic?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not anything of material creation. Everything material must change from one form to another. For example, from earth to earthen pot, and from earthen pot to earth again. All our creations are temporary, impermanent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is eternal, and similarly the living entities who are parts of Him are also eternal. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sanatan, eternal, and the individual living entities are also eternal. The difference is that Krishna, or God, is the Supreme Eternal, whereas the individual souls are minute, fragmental eternals. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 13.3, Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Although the Lord is a living being and the individual souls are living beings, the Supreme Lord, unlike the individual souls, is Vibhu, all-pervading, and Ananta, unlimited. The Lord is the cause of everything. The living entities are innumerable, but the Lord is one. No one is greater than Him, and no one is equal to Him. Thus, the Lord is the supreme worshipable object, as understood from the Vedic mantras, Natat Shamas chabhyadikascha drishyate. The Lord is supreme because no one can evaluate him by mental speculation or jugglery of words. The Lord can travel more quickly than the mind. In the Shruti mantras of Ishopanishad, it is said, Anejadeka manaso javiyo naina deva apnuvan purvam arshat tadhavato nyan atyeti tishtat tasmin apo matarishva dadhati. Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place he controls those who supply the air and rain, he surpasses all in excellence. Ishopanishad 4. Thus the Supreme is never to be equaled by the subordinate living entities. Because the Lord is situated in everyone's heart and the individual living entity is not, never should the individual living entity be equated with the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 15.15, the Lord says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta. I am situated in everyone's heart. This does not mean, however, that everyone is equal to the Lord. In the Shruti mantras, it is also said, Hridi yayam atma pratishtaha. In the beginning of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, it is said, Satyam param dhimahi. The Vedic mantras say, Satyam jnanam anantam and Nishkalam nishkriyam shantam niravadyam. God is supreme. Although naturally he does not do anything, he is doing everything. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham teshvavastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Bhagavad Gita 9.4. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. This material nature, working under my direction, O son of Kunti, is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Thus, although the Lord is silent in his abode, he is doing everything through his different energies. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. All the Vedic mantras or Shruti mantras are included in this verse, spoken by Lord Brahma for Brahma and his followers. The Brahma Sampradaya understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the Parampara system. We have to gain understanding through the words of our predecessors. There are 12 Mahajans or authorities, of whom Brahma is one. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manuhu Pralado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vyasakir Vayam. Bhagavatam 6.3.20. We belong to the disciplic succession of Brahma, and therefore we are known as the Brahma Sampradaya. As the demigods follow Lord Brahma to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we also have to follow the authorities of the Parampara system to understand the Lord.
Thank you. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jananjana Shalaka Chakshu Sanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukham Garati Vachalam Pangam Langete Girim Yatkripatamam Vande Shri Gurum Denataranam Paramananda Madhum Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Savodito Gododeya Pushpavanta Chitra Sandha Tamanuda. Shri Brahma Vacha Avikriyam Satyam Anantamadyam Guhasayam Niskalam Apratarkyam Manograyanam Vachasa Niruktam Namamahe Deva Varambaranyam. Translation. Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Lord, O changeless, unlimited, supreme truth, you are the origin of everything. Being all-pervading, you are in everyone's heart and also in the atom. You have no material qualities. Indeed, you are inconceivable. The mind cannot catch you by speculation, and words fail to describe you. You are the Supreme Master of everyone, and therefore you are worshipable for everyone. We offer respectful obeisances unto you. So now, for those of you who are following, you will know now Brahma has come to the shores of Svetadvip, and he is, you can say he's calling out, or in one sense these are beautiful prayers. Actually the prayers go up to the end of the chapter, verse 50. So from 26 to 50, that's almost 25 verses of beautiful prayers. And prayers are actually, it's actually, Brahma is showing his love also, because there's so much affection, like a child coming to the father and saying, I lost this, help me. So Brahma is coming on behalf of the demigods. He is coming, is calling out to the Lord. And you'll see in the prayers, mostly he discusses about the different qualities of the Lord. He glorifies the Lord as, in this case, one who is inconceivable, cannot be fully described in ordinary mortal words. So no one can actually approach the Lord with our minds or our words. We can't actually. But we can. We'll come to that. So it's difficult to understand the Lord simply with our limited and imperfect senses, right? We have 4 defects, and they are, all right, tendency to commit mistake, tendency to cheat, imperfect senses, and subject to illusion. So these 4 actually totally relegates us from having a direct communication with the Supreme Lord. But through the mercy of the disciplic succession, to the mercy of the Supreme Lord Himself, and through the mercy of His scriptures. So in that way we can actually understand the Supreme Lord. And the Lord is actually very kind, because He reveals Himself to us through these Vedic Shastras, not in any other way, and He also reveals through His pure devotees in the Guru Parampara. That's how we get the information. Now, what are the Vedas? The Vedas are the Lord's breathing. Yeah, they emanate, and so therefore they are also transcendental. Okay, they're not matter or material. They are transcendental, just like the Lord here. And we are also transcendental. What's our problem? We are conditioned because we are embodied in this material world. So therefore, the more we associate with the material energy, the more we tend to forget the Supreme Lord. The Lord has infinite energies, just as Prabhupada states in the purport. He has different energies. Parasya Shaktir Vivida Iva Shruyate. So many, infinite number of energies he has. But of this infinite number, there are 3 main ones. Right? Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti. Antaranga Shakti refers to his internal potencies, his own energies. And then Bahiranga Shakti refers to the material energy, the external energy. And then the Tatastha Shakti refers to the all of us, living entities, So we are all tatastha. But we have a problem. We are attracted by the... Depends on our attitude. If we move towards the spiritual energy, we can become spiritual. If we are attracted by the material energy, we become embodied in the material world. And that's our problem for most of us, actually. It is said that a very small percentage left the spiritual world. Yeah. So good to know. So this is important to know, and it's very good to understand what our position is actually. We have the ability to actually go back to spiritual abode, but we don't want to. And so here also Srila Prabhupada mentions how that there are so many different yogis and jnanis. They perform a lot of austerities and try to understand the Supreme Lord. So as in the Brahma Samhita, Pantastu koti satavatsara sampragamya vayuratapi manaso muni pungavanam sopyasti yat prapadasimni avichincha tatve govindamadi purusham tamoham vajami. So the yogis who are performing Astanga yoga, they are trying to control their breathing, and the translation is for millions and millions of years they are trying, just to see his toenails. And then similarly the jnanis, they do a lot of research and so on, just to merge into his Brahma Jyoti. And it seems strange. They are all studying the scriptures and they are performing yoga which is recommended. What gives, Why? Yeah. Because they don't understand what? Huh? They don't understand Govindamadi Purusha, that's true. They don't understand who the Supreme Lord is, and they don't understand what the knowledge in the Shastra is telling them to do also. Unless you have a proper disciplic succession, if you attempt methods in different ways, you'll come to incorrect conclusions, right? Right or not? If you have never seen a vacuum cleaner, right, what would you think it is? Right or not? And you turn it on and then it'll blow his hair, then you think it's a fan, You probably, Yeah, so it's like that. Sometimes there's so many people out there in the world, they want to understand spirituality, but due to lack of knowledge, due to lack of exposure to proper disciplic succession, or because they have been cheated, because there's so many charlatans out there, there's so many. Everyone is a guru or a god, out there. They all profess to take that position, and they tell you they know what they are doing, And therefore, I remember one nice pastime His Holiness Giriraj Swami was saying, how one person was saying he is, that I'm God, you're God also. Then the conclusion Maharaj told the person, so if I am you and you are me, give me your wallet because it's mine. So he didn't want to admit defeat, so he gave the wallet. And then Maharaj said he took and was walking away. At that time the guy said, wait, I need money to go back to my place. So we can see there are so many people out there trying to think they know everything. But we are so fortunate because of Srila Prabhupada. He came to the West, and so he allowed us to understand. And then there are other people, who think because they have some knowledge, the Lord is in the heart, so He's in my heart. So if He's in my heart, then there's no difference between Him and I, They come to conclusions like that. Very nice conclusions. And then the yogis, the Astanga yogis, they meditate, they know, okay, there's a Paramatma in my heart. So what they do, they meditate on the heart, right? They do for many, many years, they do all the austerities, the viddhis, this is their Vaidhi Bhakti. controlling the air, not eating, sitting in a forest, so they control, and then they try to meditate on that. And finally, the Lord, out of compassion, they are purified and they are not doing any more nonsense. So He reveals, the super soul says, hey, Haribo, like that. So, but what happens is, these fools, when they're meditating on the heart, they think, I'm looking at myself. This is me. Because they think the soul is where I am, right, in the heart. So when they're meditating, instead of thinking, I am actually seeing the Lord, they're thinking, I am seeing myself. So that's one way they come to that conclusion. And another group is, oh, now I've seen the Paramatma, I want to merge into them. So all these confused personalities then go on to confuse others. And they create a disciplic succession of confused practitioners of yoga process. And then when we come across such people, we do not know whether to laugh or whether to cry, right? Sometimes they are very forceful in their beliefs, and sometimes they are just innocent, and then it's easier to help them. What they don't understand is the Lord is in Goloka, Ananda, Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavista Bes Eva Ya Eva Nija Rupa Kalataya Be Goloka Eva Nivasati Akilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. That Shri Radha Vallabha, they are in Goloka, and he is having a wonderful time with his consort Radharani and his expansions, her expansions, with 64 spiritual qualities. Exciting time they are having, wonderful time they are having. Whereas these fools, they do not understand that he can do that. Why? Because they don't understand the Lord can exist in these different features. Vadanti tat tadvavidam tadvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabdati. The learned transcendentalists have given this knowledge to everyone, that the Lord has three features. One is as Paramatma, the other one is the Super Soul, and then the third one is Bhagavan, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So they don't understand this thing. Mostly out there you'll talk to people, even if you read, many years ago I was a fan of science fiction, so I used to read a lot. So the science or the scientists, they all come to the same conclusion, there's nothing in the end. There's a big cosmos, some big, no entity, but it has some energy and it can do many things, So therefore you find many of these yogis and so-called practitioners, they also say Lord has no form. And if you are very innocent, you will be confused by all these things. But we are so fortunate, right? We are so fortunate to come to the movement, to get Srila Prabhupada's mercy. He didn't cheat anyone, he just said as it is. Some people say Prabhupada's book, Bhagavad Gita as it is. That was the first book, so he wanted to point out this is the way you should understand. But it doesn't mean the Bhagavatam is not as it is. The Bhagavatam is also as it is, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is as it is. So everything Prabhupada wrote is as it is. It's not something concocted or anything like that. It's very clear. He doesn't put himself in the middle, he rather puts Krishna in the middle. And that's why he calls the movement International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He wants us to have that consciousness, Of course, what is Prabhupada's consciousness? Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada's will is that we should all become Krishna conscious. So therefore it's important for us to understand the will of the Acharya. And how do you know the will of the Acharyas? You follow? Yeah, follow his teachings, follow the devotees who follow him, the parampara. Then you'll understand. Of course, you have to also read his books. Not only you should read his books, you should also hear his classes, his conversations. There are so many nice gems in the conversation. Something sometimes is so far out, so fascinating, It's just amazing. I was just upstairs in Prabhupada's room yesterday with some of the boys here. And then I was just thinking there was an incident where the devotees in Melbourne were going to some flower shops around here and they were stealing the flowers. So then the owner came and complained to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was so kind and loving to him and then said, yeah, they should not steal, Then he was saying, they were saying everything belongs to God, so they are not stealing. So it's very interesting, Just going into the room brings that memory, Of course, this section may be a bit technical, but if you appreciate what the mood of Sri Brahma is and what Srila Prabhupada wants us to understand, is the position of the Supreme Lord. What are we trying to attain is knowledge. We must have a beginning position before we endeavor to do anything, right? When you want to purchase something, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to go to apply for colleges, don't you do research, right? So similarly, we have to understand the position of God. Who is He? How can you love someone if you don't know? Right? Can you just love, oh, I love God? A lot of people like to say that, I love God, but they don't even know who God is. So what are they loving? It's a very interesting thing to think about. What are they actually saying, It's just a belief, but they profess to say they love, but they don't know what real love is. That's the other problem. So, but we know by reading the Shastras, we also know in the 10th canto how, which is one of my favorite, is where Rukmini, Srimati Rukmini, just by hearing about Krishna, Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundaram Śrīmatam te, right? She listened to that wonderful pastimes of Krishna, her heart melted and she completely surrendered. So, by the same process, Srila Prabhupada also chanted and in Tompkins Square and he attracted so many people. The potency. Now, on our own, if we were to endeavor to read the Shastra, do you think we can come to the same conclusions? It's not possible, yeah. You can get attracted, yes, but you cannot come to the complete understanding. You need a devotee to help us. Because all these terminologies and so on may confuse us also. I was also telling them when I was younger, I read up to the 4th canto, but I was confused, especially in the 4th chapter, all the Puranjana and all those. I'm like, what is happening? But later on, when I became a full-time devotee and started doing service and went back to read, I could understand more. So then I realized that you just can't sit down and read and then say you know Krishna, but you have to also do a lot of service. So service must be there as well as chanting, deity worship, all those things must be there to help us focus ourselves on the Supreme Lord. Yeah. Otherwise we don't know His position. We won't know who Krishna is. We can speculate, right? How much can you speculate? How much, if I say glorify Krishna, what would you say? Right? How much do you really know? Most of the time we read, we can say yes, 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 but we close the book, we forget, no? Right? That's what happens. Just like in classes, generally when you are listening attentively, mostly you can listen 30-40%. Right? As soon as you get out of the class, you'll remember 20%. By the end of the day, maybe 5%. That's why they say you have to review the thing. Of course, if you are gifted with an amazing memory, then that's a different thing. That's your karma, and your benediction by the Lord, the mercy of the Lord. But in general, for most of us, we have to review this information. And just like, why do you keep chanting? Huh? Why do you do chanting all the time? Because we haven't remembered Krishna, exactly. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So that should lead to Vishnu Smaranam. So our practices must lead to that. That means whatever we do in our life, just like when you walk out in the street, when you see something, anything, can you relate it to Krishna? Can you? You have to ask yourself, can I see Krishna in this? And which is why in the 10th chapter, Krishna talks about his opulences of Krishna. Why? Then you can relate to Krishna in your ordinary life, you know. You're driving around, hurtling down the highways, then you can see the blue sky and say, wow, Krishna's, you know, then you remember he's that color. Or you can see some flower which is golden and blue and gold, then you say this is both Radha and Krishna, like that. You see that. As devotees, you will start seeing those things, and you must see those things. Right? If you can't see those things, that means your practice is not at a high level, actually. Right? Or you are committing offenses. And therefore, when you commit offenses, two things the Lord will do if you are a devotee. Either He will make you fall and go away, right? Or He'll drag you out of the whole thing because He doesn't want you to lose the position you have attained, so He'll just take you away. You'll probably drop everything and say, I've had enough of the Hare Krishnas, and then go out in the world 10, 20 years later, oh, I forgot, and run back. Then you start seriously again. So sometimes it happens, yeah. So it's important for us to know. Then we understand the Lord is behind everything also. That also, what is that? Matta paratram nanyat kinchit astit dhananjaya. You know, there's nothing superior than Krishna himself. He's the absolute truth. There's no other truth than he is. So, because he's like the string that is holding the pearls. He's behind all those things. We have to understand that Krishna is everywhere. So then if you are more and more attuned to those things, then you start seeing in your own life things that happen, that the Lord's hands are there. You know, wow, how does this happen? I didn't even put any attempt in it and it's come. You know, must be the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, mercy of my Guru. Ultimately the Lord is blessing me. It happens. You will become aware of those things. If your practice is not good, you won't be aware that the Lord is actually helping you. You'll think you are the doer. Ahankara vimutmatma kartamiti manyate. You're thinking, I'm the doer. But actually, the three modes are doing it like that. Now, everything in this material world keeps changing. Everything changes. For us also. We are young, you get old, we are changing. There's nothing is stagnant. Everything is changing. Sometimes you are rich, sometimes you are poor, and then sometimes you are rich again. There's so many insecurities in the world because of these things, and therefore people don't know what to do, how to turn, and so on. But what we know is the Supreme Lord never changes. Right? Never changes, you know. First time I came here was in 1989, 1990. Yeah, I looked at the deities. I come now, they still look the same. I have changed, and they look the same. In fact, they look more beautiful. Actually, when I first saw them, this is, I'm not telling you, I saw Radha Vallabha to be bigger than what they look now. I was like, whoa, you know. And I've never seen such a big Sri Sri Gaur Nitai before. Yeah. It's fascinating. They never change. We are the ones who are getting old and then we have to say goodbye. But don't forget me, Lord. Remember the services I've done. So therefore you should do services, so that the Lord will remember you for some of the services. So generally people, you talk outside, they will say, yes, God is great. They will say that, right? God is great. But they do not know in detail how God is great. Right? They don't know how. You ask them questions, they cannot tell you how He is great. But we are so fortunate because of Prabhupada's coming to the West, we have the Bhagavad Gita where he explains how great Krishna is. Isn't it? How wonderful He is, how loving He is to Arjuna actually. Right? He doesn't get angry, he seemingly gets angry in the beginning, right? And then He chastises him, but all throughout the Bhagavad Gita, you only see so much love coming out from the Lord. So much love. All He wants to do is try to see my point of view, Arjuna. You are my devotee, see my point of view, And He never forced. Never forced. He never forced actually. So unless we are firmly convinced with of the different opulences of the Supreme Lord, we cannot be engaged in devotional service, actually. You have to be convinced, right? You have to be. Because otherwise you are not actually communicating with the Lord directly. Alright, okay, and that's the reason why we have the Guru Parampara. We are not perfect. So we offer it to our spiritual master who offers it to Prabhupada who is perfect. Our spiritual master is perfect. So therefore, our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, they are very kind, just like Krishna. Very magnanimous. Okay, half-hearted attempt, no problem, I'll still offer it to Krishna. So when we do worship of the Guru is not thinking, oh, I'm so cool, I'm so great, yeah, keep praising me. No, they're just, it's actually very embarrassing, very demeaning also, because as the Guru also knows their own qualification, and all they can do is depend on their spiritual master. And then they offer all the worship to their spiritual master. And it goes all the way back to Krishna. And Krishna actually purifies because they are humble. And if you think, yeah, I'm so cool, I can take all this, then you become the blockhead. And then therefore you have to suffer the reactions. Yeah. So generally people think they know God, but they don't know how, they know God to be great, but they don't know how great God is. But when we study Prabhupada's books, when we study the Bhagavad Gita, we actually can tell them how great Krishna is. We can quote from the 7th chapter or the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and tell them, this is how the Lord is all over the universe. Now you tell me, how great is God? I can tell you how great God is. Yeah. And by giving people this information and knowledge, you can actually win them over. When we preach, it's not a question of we defeating or something. It's not that, We are not out there to do those kind of... We just want to show them there's a better way to love God. Or I have an alternative way. If you want to hear, I want to share with you. So let's talk about God. So that's how interfaith should be, actually. Discussions in interfaith should be. And we can also tell people, the Lord is so kind, that He's source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. That He's the source of both material and spiritual world. And the wise person who understands this, worship him with great determination actually. So, when we say great determination means it's with all, they give fully themselves, with hearts, fully. That's another clue in the Bhagavad Gita for us to how we should approach the Lord. Whenever we should worship completely, not holding back, right? We do that. If we analyze ourselves, we tend to hold back our surrender, but we have to overcome that. So knowledge about Krishna is needed and required. And so Arjuna says, I forget where it is, but he says, Nahi te Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Deva na Danavaha, where he says, neither the demigods nor the demons can actually understand you personally. So here in the ocean of the milk, they are coming, they cannot see the Lord. They all can't see. The Lord appears and He only communicates through. Who does He communicate through? Only Brahma. So therefore one has to be very, very diligent in how we worship the Lord. Also, we cannot directly approach. So all our prayers must go through spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Always appeal to them and then say, I will ask the Lord also, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, I'm going to ask the Lord. So how to understand the scriptures? It's through devotees. Why through devotees? And how is it that the devotees can understand and not anyone else? Because in the first canto you will remember when Vidura comes to meet Yudhishthira Maharaj, what does Yudhishthira Maharaj says? Bhava, famous verse, Bhava Vidya Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibhu Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani Swantastena Gadavrita. So he says that very clearly, that you are carrying the Lord in your heart. The Gadavrita refers to the Supreme Lord. You are carrying Him in your heart. Therefore, wherever you go, you make those places of pilgrimage. Or as you said, Vrindavan. So therefore, wherever they speak, they are speaking exactly what the Lord wants us to hear. When they read, they understand what the Lord wants us to know. And so when they deliver, they are actually delivering the Lord as it is. As it is. No nonsense, as it is. So nice to know that we are so fortunate, that a compassionate, one of the intimate associates of Radha and Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, came to the West. So much compassion. Otherwise, where will we all be, right? Chasing something foolish here, or barking up a tree, who knows? So, we are fortunate that Srila Prabhupada came to the West. He spoke about, he wrote about, and he preached about Krishna. That's all he did. From the time he came, or even from India, he was doing that always. And how do we know that it was effective? We know because so many people took up the process. Prior to that, nobody, right? Nobody have heard, But after Prabhupada came, so many people took up the process. Not only did they took up the process, they took up the process to worship and to love Krishna. How to love Krishna? Because it's so easy now. How to love. Before that, people don't know, go to temple, that's it. Right? Yeah, just go temple and look at the deities and go back, right? I always say this to my devotees in America. They come to the deity, they're like, hey, hi, yeah. Right? When they see the boys, when they see each other, they go like that, hey, hey. So when they come to the deity, they also like, hey. But there's no real relationship. But after reading Prabhupada's books and after seeing his disciples, the devotees associating, we find a new level of affection. Something we never experienced before, right? Otherwise, why are you still here? Because it's genuine. It's because we don't have that previously. We didn't have it. That is what we are yearning for as Jiva Atma. We want that love, loving exchanges with the Lord Himself also. And it comes through the devotees. So therefore, we find it so attractive, so wonderful. And then just imagine, as I mentioned earlier also, if this relationship is so wonderful, just imagine the relationship we will have when we go to the spiritual world. Wow, it's so fascinating just to think about it, right? So therefore we should try our best. And Srila Prabhupada shows us how this works. The system works because it's coming in parampara. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarishi vidusa kalena mahato yoganasta parantapa. If it comes genuinely in this disciplic succession, just like we just mentioned, tirti kurvanti tirtani swantastena gadabrita. When it comes through such powerful devotees, and each one of you, as you make more and more surrender to Krishna, you are also carrying the Lord in your heart. And therefore you can also give that to others. And so much joy you will bring to the world. And to them, to each individual in this community, in this country, in the world, you will awaken them to who they really are. Otherwise we become slaves to the body and to the material modes, like that. If we don't give it away, then we will lose it eventually. Just like I was reading an article the other day, in US they have this Declaration of Independence. There's a big, and when it was signed by all the big Founder-Acharyas for their, they made a copy of it also, one or two copies, and so one family got that in their family. So it's a heirloom, right? It's a very important document. But after some time, that family forgot the importance of that document, and then they put it on a garage sale. And someone bought it for like $1.49 or something like $1 something, yeah. And then the person was curious, and so they went to a museum to check, and they found it was a very authentic copy. And it was in hundreds and thousands of dollars, Why? The potency is lost when you do not share and give it to others. So it's important for us to share what we have, otherwise we will lose it also, and we will not be able to help others. So Srila Prabhupada is the Founder-Acharya. He is the preeminent Siksha Guru for all of us. He is the one who is preaching through all of us, actually. Okay, we should always remember, we simply must become his instruments. Nimitta matram. Bhavasavya sachin. Krishna tells Arjuna, just become my instrument. And so we should be like that. Now, we can preach in many ways. It doesn't mean you have to go immediately out in the streets and do. You can preach in different ways. You can have a podcast, you can go on book distribution, you go on Harinam, you do Prasadam distribution, you just call someone on the phone that you know and say, hey, come to the Sunday feast. That's also preaching. Or you say, look, I baked you a cake. That's preaching. Yeah, Someone new comes to your neighborhood and you see someone new, give them something and say, hey, welcome to the neighborhood. I hope you have a wonderful experience here, just like I'm having so much joy in this neighborhood. And they're like, what is this? What's going on? right? And then they want to know who's this person. And then they'll see this person is a Hare Krishna, Then they'll look at you and they still can't get it together. And you keep giving them more prasadam in the meantime. And so that's how you make them become favorable to Krishna consciousness. So we have to gain understanding through the words of our predecessor, acharyas, to the wonderful devotees who have helped us so much to become, at least now we have become human beings, right? Prabhupada writes in one of the purpose, if you don't follow the 4 regulatory principles, you can't claim to be a human being. So now we can say, oh, yeah, I'm a human being, at least I'm a human being. Yeah. So I'll stop here. I'll take some comments, questions, corrections, or additions, or reflections. If you want to give, I'll appreciate whatever. Yeah. Yes, Sevaya. Seva. I can always rely on one question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you were talking about like parampara and the importance of parampara, and in the purport Prabhupada mentions that we are in the Brahma parampara, because we know in the succession mentioned by Srila Prabhupada, Brahma was the first recipient to receive knowledge from Krishna. So I would like to ask, the knowledge which was given to Brahma, was the text like the same as what we have in the Bhagavad Gita? If so, did Krishna tell Lord Brahma about the Mahabharata?
The knowledge that Krishna revealed to Brahma is in the 2nd chapter, right? Chatursloki, 2nd canto, Chatursloki. And then Brahma meditates on those instructions, and then everything is revealed through his heart. Does Brahma know about Mahabharata? Yeah. Ramayana? Yes, everything is revealed to him. In fact, the Brahma Samhita is only 1 chapter. There's supposed to be 100 chapters. So all the other pastimes are there completely in the Brahma Samhita, but we have only the 5th chapter, I believe. Brahma knows everything. But you can see sometimes Brahma is also put into illusion by Krishna for pastime purposes. Otherwise, he is very qualified, Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you for the nice class, Prabhu. This is a general question. I don't know, I speak to a lot of Indians, and they say in India, widely people think this Hare Krishna is a little forceful. Why is that? They say in the bus or wherever they go, they chant and they want everyone to chant together, and they are a little forceful and they want to be away from them.
Yeah, I think that is more a management problem, because the teams that go out to do, they become overly enthusiastic, and in their enthusiasm they want everyone to become pure devotees. Just like when you became a devotee, immediately you want to convert your mother, your father, your brothers, sisters. So that enthusiasm sometimes goes overboard, and I think senior devotees can temper the enthusiasm to the degree that ordinary people will see us not as a threat, but as someone who are their well-wishers. Yeah. So it needs some education also. So sometimes in our movement, the very first person who walks through the door, 10 people will come to them and say, no, 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 don't do this, don't do that. And we overwhelm them. But rather we should become kind and affectionate to show them that we are their well-wishers. So it's a cultural thing that we need to maybe change slowly. Hopefully it can be done. But otherwise, what can be done,
The same question one person asked here also, the Hare Krishnas are doing like that. Then I, one-on-one, I explained to her that because it's two different levels, like I'm a mathematics teacher. When I go to primary school, I can teach what they can understand, addition, subtraction, division. Well, when I go to middle school, I can teach algebra, geometry, trigonometry, high school, calculus, something like that. So they are telling in common because they see the danger out there and they feel the whole world is like their family, so they show the love like their own son or brother or sister. So outside people, when they come first time, they may feel forceful, but that is love. That's what I explain her. Mother, if the son is crying, I don't want that medicine. Mother, somehow she knows if he take this medicine, he will get better in 2 days. Otherwise, he's going to suffer for 2 weeks. So she somehow in the banana or rice, or somehow she gives the medicine. That's how the Hare Krishna, out of love, they are telling the people are misunderstanding. If I'm wrong, please correct.
I think we should, again, it's out of enthusiasm. I think whenever we speaking to a public, like on Sunday feast and so on, we should speak to the lowest denomination there. I shouldn't say denomination, lowest understanding. You should ask who's new, and then there's so many new people. So your language and the information you share must be, the right word is digestible to them, Yeah, they should I can accept that. Yeah, so we should not use terms and words that confuses people or make them feel inferior. So we should not think like that, But among devotees, we are more open and we can share and challenge so that we can improve the way we think. But with newcomers and so on, we should always understand that our role is to connect them to Krishna, not to push them away. And if we know that within the core of our hearts, then we'll always work on that principle of speaking. Otherwise, it doesn't work, and that is a very important thing. No matter what you say after it's done, it's very hard for people to accept also. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. And one more question. Last time when you came, you said that Austin, Houston, they have big temples, but no congregation. But Melbourne has a small temple, bigger congregation. How is that? It's improving now in Houston, Austin. Is it? And why is that? If you can explain, thank you so much.
Why is that?
So what is, because I see in Austin, Houston, so much Indians are coming just like Melbourne. So here every day we see about 60 news people are coming to our temple every day. So why not happening in Houston and Austin?
It is happening. We are getting a lot of people. We are also having a lot of Westerners coming also now. Yeah. We also have to face with, they're not only Hare Krishna temple, there's 40 other temples, Indians, Every Indian group, they'll go and build a new temple, and then from there they split and they build another temple, and then they split and they build another temple. Yeah, they do that. So, and then they break apart the congregation like that, yes. And then that's one thing. The other thing is location. Right? A person who is spiritual and understands spirituality will come to the Hare Krishna place. A person who just wants to go to a holy place will just go to the nearest temple they can find. Yeah. Why drive 45 minutes when I can just drive 5 minutes, right? So, in Houston and Austin, the many temples in different locations. So people just go to those places. Yeah. So, we have to go to those places and do, which we do through interfaith and so on. More often than not, they invite us to come and do kirtans and do festivals and so on. So yeah.
Do you do Harinam every week in Houston?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Thank you.
We couldn't do because so much laws. I don't know about Australia, but there is law. You cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot walk here, not this time, not that time. You have to have permit, police permit, all that. And only And even in some places, there's only a certain area you can stand. You cannot walk out of that area. If you do, they'll sanction you. So, it's a challenge there because people are becoming more and more atheistic. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Oh, he wants to go, so yeah. No problem. Anything else? Otherwise we can end. Thank you very much. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.